Hey flyers, MC here. I got another unboxing. Now this airplane has been out for a while, but I haven't had a chance to get one until just recently. Now this is the Freewing F-35 Lightning. This is the Lightning 2. I think this is the V2 or V3 version of this. My very first F-35 I had was way back when nitro planes came out with the 64 millimeter F-35, and I flew. That was, I think, my first or second jet that I owned at the time, and I flew that thing to death until I crashed it and couldn't bring it back anymore. It had its final crash. Now I've been finally able to get my second F-35. Now, instead of a 64 millimeter F-35, this one is the 70 millimeter F-35. Box top information on it, I got it right here. This is the plug and play version, but this is also the, I forgot what it was, but it was a return. It was a return one, an open box version of this airplane. The wingspan on it is 820 millimeters. The fuselage, the length of the airplane is going to be 1,210 millimeters. The empty weight on it without the battery is going to be 1,700 grams. You have 9 digital Metal Gear servos. There's going to be 7 of those. Of course, this is a 70 millimeter EDF with a 12 blade ducted fan. This airplane also has the 2957 2210 kV brushless in-runner motor. It has an 80 amp ESC in it, and it also has the retracts with the shock absorbing struts on it. The box also tells us that the required battery size is going to be a 6S 2200 milliamp battery. And it's going to be a 3500 to a 4500 milliamp battery, LiPo. And it says that there's an EC5 connector in it. So you're going to have a minimum of 6 channels for this airplane. Or 5, because I don't think this airplane has flaps on it. So anyway, this is an open box airplane. It was returned back to Motion RC. And so I saw it and I scooped it up, and I think there's some minor damage that's done, or maybe a minor problem with this airplane. I'm going to take a good look at it and see. Here's the manual. It's already been scratched up or damaged a little bit, but that's okay. It's just a manual. Unless you keep manuals as a trophy and stuff like that, or to refer back to it, you can. Here is the parts count and the manual and the key part of it again. It shows you all the different parts that should come with this airplane. You have your fuselage, your main wings, your elevator, your tail cone part. This tail cone, I think you're going to have to glue that tail cone on, and I think you're going to screw in your elevator parts that's going to go there. And your vertical stabilizers, I think they just screw right in. So, and then you have a parts bag here. So you have all of the different parts that are numbered here. Let me see if it's on a, you have your length and your width. It tells you there. And then also it's going to go into it as to how to assemble this airplane together, starting with the tail pieces and everything, bit by bit till you get to the end. So this is an extremely detailed manual for this airplane, and you also have your center of gravity, and it shows you where it's located at that you want to check after you get the airplane together and put together. You also have your retracts, and it tells you the different directions in which to put it. And then it's in Chinese, and I don't speak that language at this particular time, so we don't need to go to that part. We also have some thank you gifts here from Motion RC and your warranty information. You have a few little decals that's going to come with it as well. This is a Velcro strap. Oh, This is not this is the ARF Plus airplane. So it does not have the ESC and a motor with it. That was one of the things I just remembered. But you do have the parts to tie down your ESC and your battery bay here, along with your control harness and push rods that are right here. And these are ball links on certain parts, and then also you have your control horns on the other part, your parts there. So here is your elevator parts are right here, and like I said, this is an ARF Plus, not a plug and play. So you have your elevator parts right here. They look really nice. Your foam hinges part, you have it reinforced right here. I think that's plastic that goes through there. That's the top side. This is the bottom side. You have your ball links right here. You're going to connect up to the end of your fuselage right here with some screws. So you have your two pieces of your elevators. How that's going to get connected onto there. And like I said, this is an ARF Plus, so it does not come with the motor and the ESC. So I have my own motor and ESC for this airplane. The next part in the bag here, in the unboxing here, is the main wings. We do have some compression parts here, so because this was an open box, it does have a little bit of problems with it. You can see the compression, the hanger rash that was already put on this airplane, which is normal, because if you're not careful with these airplanes, because it is foam, you could get that hanger rash on there like that. So that's not a big problem for me. Some people that might be a problem, especially when you get it like this, but hey, this was an open box airplane, so it's obviously you're gonna have that kind of a problem. And I'm not too particular about that. You do have foam hinges on here, and you do not have the ball links on this. So you're going to have your regular control horns on this side of it. Here's your servo that's right there. That's a Metal Gear servo, and your connection points are going to be on the bottom side of your main wing here. So that's not a problem. You have your spar. This is a carbon fiber spar that's going to connect the wings together. That's going to run through that hole right there. You're going to connect your servo connectors to the fuselage there. So it's not a bad looking airplane. It looks really good. The wings look really nice. These are foam hinges on it, and they really don't look that bad. One of the problems you're going to get out of these foam hinges, which I see it already happening here. If you notice right along this line here of the foam hinge, you're going to get some crackling that's going to develop. Now that's always going to be your Achilles heel of the foam hinges. It don't matter who makes these foam hinges in airplanes. There's basically no way around it. Now some people have used a shoe goop or glue. I can't think of the name of it right now. But some people have said if you put a line of that shoe goop up through there and then spread it with your fingers in there on both sides, on the top and then on the bottom side, because it's going to crack like that, that's the best thing for it. So I have not done that with the shoe goops thus far with my airplanes that have the foam hinges, but a lot of guys swear by it. So it doesn't hurt to try it out, especially when they're new like this, and it will make a big difference, especially when it comes to the longevity of the hinges. Now with this particular airplane, I'm not sure, because it's made by Freewing. I don't think you're going to have a problem with these foam hinges. They're usually quite reliable. You will have a lot of flights before you have to worry about it. But you always want to make sure that you inspect your airplane after your flights, just to make sure. Tug on them a little bit like that and make sure that everything is okay on it. Now the foam surface on here is really well. You can see that. You could barely see that this is foam. They did a really good paint job on here. They filled in a lot of those. I call them pock holes, but they're basically the molding holes from the foam. You see it a little bit in certain places and not in others, but it's very nicely done. I'm quite sure that it's not that bad of a deal with the paint and everything, but it looks really nice. I would say that this one is very nice considering who it comes from and what it's made out of. So this is real nice. I'm going to put this right here. This is going to be your wings for this airplane. This is your nose cone. This is the top part of the box. So you're going to get your nose cone, you're going to get your spar, your main wings, and your elevator in the top portion of the box. And this is your nose cone. It's magnetic, and it's got a groove channel here, so it's going to go in one specific direction. You can't mess it up. Sometimes you get them and you can stick them in backwards or something like that, but you're not going to do that with this because of the key way that it's made. So it's going to only go in one way. So that's going to be a really good nose cone for you. And you could take it off like that, because if you wanted to stand the airplane up and break it down when you get home and stand it up in a corner somewhere, you could do so without worrying about it damaging your nose cone. Here you're going to have your vertical stabilizers and rudders. These also have 9-gram servos on them. And one of the things I like about these servos is, if you look at it, they got the little holders for the servos. So you got a compartment specifically for your servos to lock into, and they're tied down with screws in there. So that's very nice. I like that. And okay, this one was not opened up. So apparently, whoever got this airplane, they must have saw that the main wing had those dimples and crinkles in it, and they returned it back. But this one here, the elevator here, is pretty nice. You're gonna have to bolt it in also. You got your plastic pieces to bolt it in. You got your 9-gram servos. Your decals are already connected on here. You have foam hinges on here as well. You got decals actually on both sides of it. So this is the inside of it. This is going to be the outside. So this is going to be your right side vertical stabilizer and rudder. And it looks really nice. Actually, it looks really nice considering. And you got your Air Force Base insignia there with the F-35. And it looks great. Now for me, I'm going to put some clear coat over this airplane, because I found that the clear coat really does make a difference when it comes to the sturdiness of the airplane. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this airplane. Oh, and as I'm looking at this F-35 here, now one of the things that Freewing does is that if you choose to put nylon hinges on your airplane instead of those plastic hinges, they send you some nylon hinges that you can make on your own to connect up and to install these instead of the foam hinges that are on there. And that's what this is for. You have your little pins here with your nylon hinges. You have a cross pin right here on this part that goes in between those hinges, the nylon right there, and then you glue them in spot. So you could use like 3 of them on each control surface, like on your elevator, your ailerons, and that'll connect up your control surfaces lickety split if that's what you like. And now here comes the best part of this airplane that everybody I know likes to see. That is the fuselage of this airplane. And I'm gonna put this over on the side. Put that right here for now. these out of the way. And this is the baby that everybody wants to see, I know. I do not have to glue in the tail end. As I can see here, the cone is already connected and it's glued on. I guess that's from the factory. The fuselage here looks really, really nice. You do have some little bit of hanger rash up over here too on the airplane. I see. Maybe that's why it was returned back to the manufacturer. Your canopy on it looks really good with your pilot, and he has a fairly decent control cockpit there too. The details on that looks pretty decent. It's not, you know, completely scale, but you have something there. There's nothing there bare, so it's really nice looking. It's a Joint Strike Force F-35. Here you have your retracts. These are shock absorbing retracts. You got your wheels here. They're hard, kind of. They're not too hard plastic. They're a little bit soft, a little bit harder than normal. They're not super soft. Put it to you that way. You have an extremely wide cheater hole here. I've seen videos where guys have cut out even this little bit right here to allow more air to flow into your EDF unit that's there. There's no EDF in this one. I'm gonna have to get my own, or I have my own for this airplane. You do have your 9-gram servos here on the back for your elevator. They're there. This is where my EDF is gonna go. This is your wing servos there. The wing parts there. And let's open up the canopy now and look at the battery bay. Now, this battery bay is really big. You have one battery strap here, and you have a space for a second battery strap if you choose to put one in there. All of your wires come all the way up here to the very front from the back. It goes up underneath your battery tray, and then it goes all the way down back to where it needs to go to. You got your control surface back there for your elevator, your rudder, and your main wing. So all these wires here go back to the back for that. Now with me, I'm gonna have to get my own ESC and my own motor, which I already have, to put into this airplane. So I would have that extra ESC wire and everything coming up. Now with this battery bay, if you notice right here, it's bolted in with 4 screws, so you can pull this up and then run your wires up through to the front of it. And then if you wanted to put your receiver up here in the front, or maybe on this part right here, or whatever you want to put it at, you got plenty of room to do so. Let's look at that. I have a big hand, and I could literally stick my fist in there closed. So that's really big for a battery bay to put your battery in there. It looks really, really nice. If that was the only problem with this airplane, this is a pretty good deal. I can tell you that right now, because of the fact that everything else on this airplane looks nice. I don't see any other problems with this airplane that I would consider taking it back. Here's the canopy hatch and battery bay right here. The canopy here, this looks nice. I don't see any problems with that. So one of the things I would say is a good thing that you want to notice here is that this latch here, this pin here, is made out of metal. That's very, very good. And why I say that, because I have another airplane from another manufacturer, and that pin was made out of plastic. And one of the things that's going to happen with your pin that you close here is that when you close this down on top of there like that, doing it enough times, that plastic is going to wear out and it'll end up breaking. And if that plastic breaks, then guess what? This latch here is not going to close right all the way. You're going to have problems with it, especially when you're flying. As the airplane maneuvers through the air and turns, this foam is going to bend a little bit, The next thing you know, you're going to see your canopy flying off. And more than likely, if you have a problem with your canopy flying off, that's why. Especially if this little pin here is made out of plastic. It'll break, and it'll be a lot shorter than what's required to keep that canopy on. The next thing you know, you're going to be out in the field somewhere looking for your canopy because it's blown off. So this is a good thing to have for this airplane where it's made out of metal. So you're not going to have to worry about that pin ever breaking on you when you're latching it down. So kudos for Freewing for that, because of the fact that does make a big difference. The decals on this looks very nice. You have a lot of them showing all of the different features of the airplane. Very, very scale. You got your fuel probe here where your fuel would go onto the real airplane. It looks really nice. The coloring on it looks good. No complaints there. All of your decals on here, and I think this is paint. This looks like paint. If it's not paint, then that's a really good water slide decal, but it looks like paint there. But it looks good. It looks really good. Yep. I have no complaints about this airplane here. I'm gonna have to fish out my my main wing wire that goes through there. I'm gonna have to fish that out, but that's not gonna be a problem. I see the one on this side, but I don't see it on the other side. But it's in there. So anyway, this is MC, and this is the unboxing of the Freewing F-35 2 Lightning 70mm jet. Thank you so much for viewing, and I appreciate your viewing this video. MC out.